Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Okay.
All right. So, in our last classes, we
Yes.
okay, good. In our last class, we tried to cover up everything on Google Suits and took a peep into the Trello application or software. So, today we would quickly try to cover up these common skills that we started off last week. In particular, we'll be looking at Slack and Zoom. Okay. Hopefully, by the end of today, I was supposed to have dropped the Zendesk link. I don't know if I did that already, but if I have not, and I will drop the link to the Zendesk tutorial much later. And after these two applications, if time still permits us, then we'll look into the next few things like CV creation and proposal writing for freelance gigs. Okay, so that said, let's just dive right in. We'll begin with the first for today, which is Slack. My network is a little crappy this evening, so just bear with me in case there is some slight upload and download issues. So today we'll begin with Slack, and this is how to navigate to slack.com. So first and foremost, what is Slack? Slack is basically a communication and collaboration tool for small businesses, okay, medium businesses, and of course large enterprises. It basically takes the place of the old-fashioned email address or email system between staff or colleagues in the same organizations. Okay, prior to this time, before the advent of Slack, when staff of the same organization want to communicate with themselves, they often have to send emails. Okay, either they send, basically that's what they do. They send emails. Okay, so you the sender, you send an email because of course you would have the email address of the recipient. So you send an email to your colleague in the same office. Let's just assume that the person is just upstairs and you need something urgently from the person. Instead of running upstairs, you just send an email to the person. The person receives a notification, opens the mail, reads the mail, and sends a response to you. So that gives a back and forth messaging process between you and your colleague. But there is a downside to that process, and the downside is, one, it is time consuming, okay, and two, it could affect the progress of work due to the nature of the time that it would require for one person to send and the other to get a notification and then read and send, and the way emails are sent, it may not be instant in that sense, especially with respect to the network you have. It may not be instant, unlike live chats and the rest of them. So Slack came in to take care of that laxity that email seems to be posing to such scenarios. Alright, so Slack is just like an instant messaging application. So it can be likened to Instagram Direct, it can be likened to WhatsApp. However, it has way more features than all those instant messaging applications. Okay, so like I said, Slack is mostly used by organizations for business interactions, all right, between people of the same organization. It can also be used by people of different organizations. There's an availability for that. All right, so that said, to sign up on Slack, you just have to head over to your slack.com and then click on create a new workspace. All right, so you'll be given some process to follow to sign up your account with them. And you need to know that if you're signing up an account on Slack, it is assumed that you're signing up that account as a business person. Okay, because one person does not ordinarily use Slack. Okay, if you're you're looking for applications that you could use as an individual, perhaps you may check other applications. There are other instant messaging applications. But when it comes to collaboration between teammates, okay, of the same business or of the same organization, then you'll be talking about Slack. Okay, so while you're signing up on Slack, it is assumed that you're a business person, because it gets to a point you'll be asked to invite your teammates. Okay, so that is why you may not want to open Slack except if you just want to try out the features. And so what I do recommend, just like I did with Trello, I do recommend that perhaps one person in this session or this set could open up a Slack, all right, a Slack account on behalf of this March set of Freelance Masterclass. Okay, when you open up the account, then you send the link to the group so that everybody in this very set of March Masterclass could then join that very Slack group, so that all of you together can have a feel of what Slack application looks like. You could play around the application, all right? It doesn't really have much limitation, except if the person who created it has placed some restrictions. And so if you're the one who's going to be creating it, I advise that you do not place any restrictions, so that everybody have a full scale access to the application. It's advisable that you actually practice, because you would need it in some cases. Some clients will specify that you must have a knowledge of Slack before they can employ you, so that you could use it to communicate with fellow teammates if you are to be working with a team, or you could communicate with your client if need be. Okay, so that said, we head over to the Slack application itself. Okay, so Slack has both a web browser version and the desktop client version. It also has a mobile version. Okay, it also has a mobile version. So that's just an introduction to Slack itself. So let's look at the desktop client, which is what I'm opening up at this time. The desktop client looks much like this. I'll be showing us exactly how to navigate virtually everything on Slack. Okay, everything on the Slack, so that you have a feel, a complete tool at your beck and call, which you could use when the need arises. So to begin with, when you open up your Slack account, you'll be taken into the workspace. Okay, your Slack account is called your workspace. So if a company, for instance, invites you to join their workspace, their Slack workspace, you would ordinarily be sent an invite link, either via your email, basically, or if the person who is employing you decides to do that by sending you a link to their channel or to their Slack workspace, then you just have to click on the link. Either ways, if you have an account with them already, with Slack already, then you just be given some short process to join a particular workspace. And if not, if you do not have an account already, then whether by the link or by the mail you receive, you would need to sign up on Slack before you can get access to whatever workspace you are joining. Alright, so that said, the feature of Slack basically looks like what you're seeing here at the moment. At this very top right side here is the 3-line that introduces you to some shortcuts to everything that Slack entails. Okay, everything that Slack entails. I also need to mention that Slack has both free trial and the paid version. It has a free version and a paid version. Unfortunately, my free version has expired. My paid version has expired, which I got through a trial version. So presently I'm using just a free version. Okay, so I'll be limited to what I could be showing you. However, I would also send, alongside this recording, I would likely send another recording of another Slack tutorial I had held some time ago when my paid version was active, so that you could also see some features that may not be available in the free version. Okay. However, with what you'll be learning here, you are sound enough to operate Slack. So just pay attention and follow me. The file here takes us into these categories. Okay. New message, new channel, and the rest of them. So we'll be taking all of these one after the other. Okay. Now, when you open up your Slack, whether on the web browser or on the mobile version or on the desktop.
Please, your font is too small, though.
My font is too small. Is there anybody else that cannot see my screen boldly? If you are using a phone, you may want to put your phone on a landscape mode. If your phone is on a portrait mode, that is vertically, you will not be able to see my screen clearly. Okay, so put your phone on a landscape mode for you to be able to see what I'm showing you. Right, that's it. So these three dots introduces, or these three lines introduces to a shortcut that takes you around the whole application of Slack. Slack on mobile, desktop, or browser basically have the same interface, just like you're seeing here. Okay. At the right side here would be the different workspace that you belong to. And remember, I said each workspace introduces you or shows you the company you are working with. That is, or the business you are attached to. Okay. So this is January Freelance Masterclass. This was the Slack group created by the January set of the Freelance Masterclass. So after I taught them Slack, one of them opened an account for the group, and every one of the members joined. Okay, so your set can do the same, so that you can also navigate the whole Slack yourself and get acquainted with the tool. Okay, this is particularly for my clients. We basically interact on Slack alongside other teammates. Okay, so you can see this is Hoops Institute and University. And then this one here is my colleagues, just my personal colleagues. Okay, in November, we created this sometime last year when we were trying out the Slack application. Okay, so at the right hand side here is what you would set up on your preference level. I'll be showing us how to do that. So whatever you want to see, because these are just like quick navigations to your Slack workspace. Okay, what are those things that you would always interact with when you open up your Slack? That is what you want to make sure appears on this side. Right on this top is all unread messages, threads, mentions and reactions, drafts, saved items, Slack Connect for those who belong to another Slack workspace and they are trying to join your own Slack workspace with their already existing Slack account. That is what the use of Slack Connect is basically. Channel browser talks about browsing different channels on the Slack. We'll be looking at channels briefly. Applications talks about third-party applications that you can integrate with your Slack, just as we saw on Trello. We'll check it out. We'll look at more options when we get to this part. Under that, we have ODMs, file browser, people and user groups, and the rest of that. And then further down, we have the channel category, which shows us the different rooms or the different departments that we have on Slack or that we have created on our Slack workspace. And then we have direct messages, okay? All the instant messages that you have been sent. Okay, so this is like a group interaction, and this is like your private interaction with different people in the Slack workspace, okay? Over here is where you will get to see the particular workspace that you are working on at that moment, at the moment you're working. Whatever workspace you are, this is where you get to know which workspace it is. So presently, I am on the November class test running workflow, which is this. You can see it highlighted with white background or white border line. Okay, so this is where you get details about the Slack workspace that you are presently. Immediately under this name, which is the Slack workspace, you will see the URL. Okay, so if I copy this URL now and I go to paste it on my web browser, it will automatically open this Slack workspace for me. So every Slack workspace has their URL, which could be used or which could be searched up via Google. Once you have your URL, you don't need to cram the name, just put in the URL and you're good to go. That said, these are just indications or notification telling you about the limitations you have on free trial. So under this, we look at how this is how you get to invite people. Okay, you want to invite people. Perhaps from the first sign up process, you may not want to invite people until you are done opening the Slack workspace completely. And then when you are brought to this section, you can then, through this measure, begin to invite people. There are other means to invite people, which I'll be showing us shortly. But this is just one of them. So when you want to invite people, you can use this. You want to create a channel, you can use this. You want to check out or set up preferences. When I talk about preferences, I'm talking about how you want your own Slack workspace to look like. Okay, so this is basically for individuals. You can set up your preference as you wish. Okay, it's under this preference that you choose how your Slack interface will look like. It is under the preference you set up this part, what you want to be seeing on this part, and every other thing you want your Slack workspace to look like. Whenever you open them, administration talks about basically it's restricted to the admins, those who opened Slack workspace from scratch. Okay, and of course those that are assigned the administrative roles. Those are the people that have a complete access to this particular session. So I may not be showing us much on this session, but I would advise that we have an idea about it. Tools. Here, Slack introduces us to some automation tools or some automation features that enables us to work effortlessly, especially when we are not available. We saw a similar thing like that on Trello when we talked about automations. So automations on Trello is the same function as the workflow builder on Slack. All right. And analytics talks about records. Okay, all the activities and everything that has been happening on your Slack workspace, you get that under analytics. And of course, you can sign out of the particular workspace that you are by clicking on this link here. So let's just jump fully into details of what we're talking about. We head over to this very section, which is the main menu. Okay, and a click on that gives us a drop down. The first on the drop down list is the file, and under file category we have new message. As the name implies, new message is the feature that allows you to start a fresh message, or you call up a message that you have been having with somebody else so as to continue with the message. So when you click on a new message, it will ask you who do you want to chat with. Okay, so that is the feature you see here. Sorry, excuse me. That's the feature you see here. Okay, under new message, anything you control or you command here, you see the effect on this side of the Slack space. All right. So new message asks you, who do you want to chat with? Do you want to chat with a group? Group chat is otherwise called channel chat. Okay, so when we talk about channel, we are referring to groups. Okay, different group, whether public or private. Or do you want to chat with an individual? Okay, you want to chat with an individual, then you call up the person's name. Or do you have an individual's email address, which is also chatting with a particular person, not a group? So you have the option of chatting either in a group or with a person. Either ways, you have to either call up the channel that you want to chat in. If you're calling up a channel, then you want to start your typing with the symbol hash. The hash sign calls up all the channel on this Slack workspace. Okay, once you type the hash key, it will draw up every channel, all these channels up here. Okay, so if you don't want to go through that means, you just go ahead and click on the name of the channel you want to chat. So that's the short way to just navigate. If not, you just want to click on the option, the symbol hash, and then it gives you a drop down of the channels that you may be calling up on. Okay, so in this case, if I click on hash, you can see all the channels popping up, and then I choose which channel do I want to engage in. Or if it is somebody's name I want to, or somebody I want to chat with directly, I can begin the chat with art. I call up art, and then it gives me the names of different people that I may want to chat with. All right. So that is that for new message. Still under file, we have new channel. Okay, new channel talks about you wanting to create a channel afresh. Now, I said a channel can be likened to group chat. Another thing that you could liken a channel to is a department. Remember, I said Slack is usually used for businesses, either small, medium, or large scale businesses. Okay, so imagine that in a particular organization, for instance, you have different departments. Okay, now each department can create their own channels, which is like their own department, so that every channel created by every department would consist of the members of that department alone, except if there are other need, or if there is any need to bring in somebody from another department. Okay, so consider channel to mean department or to mean groups, various groups, and your channel can either be public or private. So if you're creating a new channel from scratch, you will first give the channel a name. As you can see here, any name you give to the channel is what you will see here. All right, and then you can give the channel a description. Okay, just like you guys create groups on WhatsApp and Facebook. All right, so the same thing applies here. This is how to create a group or a channel. Groups on Slack are referred to as channels. So you can create by giving up the channel a short description. All right, and then you can decide whether you want to make it a private channel or a public channel. If it is a public channel, the hash sign will precede that channel, just as you can see here. But if it's a private channel, a padlock symbol would precede the channel. All right, a padlock symbol will precede the channel. And that decides whether or not people will be able to have access to that channel whenever they join your workspace. So ordinarily, when a new intake or a new member joins the Slack workspace, the person would be able to see all the public channels. Okay, and the person will have the access to join any public channel of their choice. All right, so that said, we move to the next, which is under file again. We have workspace. Now under workspace, you basically have access to all the workspaces that you belong to or that you have signed into. In my case, I have about 3 workspaces that I'm presently participant of. Okay, I'm participant of about 3 workspaces. So the different workspace will be shown to me once I click on workspace, and then I can also navigate. Presently, I am on this workspace, November. So if I want to navigate to the next workspace, which is January, according to the chronology here, January is first, basketball is second, November is third. So if I click on next, and presently I am here, next will take me to January. Next again will take me to basketball. Next again will bring me here. Okay, previous, if I select previous workspace, from here it will take me to basketball. Just backward and forward, that's basically what these 2 buttons are for. And if you want to sign into another workspace, perhaps another client of yours have their own separate Slack workspace and they want you to also work there, so that will probably make it the 4th Slack workspace that I'm participating in. So I will want to sign in using this method. All right, if I have their details, I just click on sign into another workspace, and then it asks me to sign into their workspace. I plug in the details, and I'll find myself in a new workspace altogether. Or if I want to create my own workspace afresh, I can do that by just clicking on create new workspace. Alright, that said, this is another place where you can invite people. After you've created your new workspace, you can invite people through this means. Okay, even if you are not the one that created a workspace, provided you have access to that workspace, you can use this means to invite people to this channel. Preference is basically where you get. Sorry, let's quickly check out how to invite people. You click on invite, and then you can either invite people by copying a link and sending them the link, or by putting in their email if you have their email. Okay, these are the 2 ways you can invite anybody to this particular Slack workspace or any other workspace that you may find yourself in. Preference, as I said earlier on, is that which gives you the opportunity to set up how you want your Slack to look like, your interface. Okay, so whatever you set up here, I will not spend much time here because this is basically left to individual discretion. Okay, anyhow you want your Slack to look like, you want the color to be blue, You can set that all up here. So I'll just quickly scroll down through everything here so that we can see exactly what it is. Notification, as the name implies, is the preference that gives you notification on anything that you have selected. So if you want a notification on all the messages that drop on the Slack workspace, you click on all new messages. Okay. Other than that, you can decide when and how you want to receive your notification. Okay. And if you don't want notification at all, you can click on nothing. Okay. And further down, you can just play around this to see how you could set up your notification. Sidebar, which is this bar here, everything here. This is where you set up what you want to show up here based on what you frequently use on Slack. This is where you get to set that all up. Alright. Themes, this is just where you set up the feel of your Slack client or your Slack interface. Alright. You want the color hash. You can change it from purple to hash. You can see that, or gray rather. You can change it from purple to, is this gray color? You can change it from purple to this color, or if you want, you just give it a different feel. Alright, this is basically what you do here. You can change the color, you can change the texture, and then every other thing. You can see the different kinds of designs that your Slack could take. Okay, under messaging and media, this is where you set up how you want your messages to look like. Do you want people's full name to show up when they chat you up, or you want their nicknames that they have chosen when they signed up on Slack? So this is basically everything that has to do with messaging and media. Media talks about what you exchange on Slack: videos, files, music, pictures, or what have you. So however you want to interact with files, this is where you get to set that all up. Emojis and the rest of them also fall under this category. Okay. Languages and region, as the name implies, this is basically what it is. Where you set up your language, you change your language, your time zone, and if you have another language that you want to add up on your Slack account, you can do that there. Accessibility, basically this is where you increase or decrease your font size, your font style, and the rest of them. Okay, how you want links to be sent to your Slack space. If there is any link that is sent by anybody, including yourself, do you want the link to be underlined, or you want it to just be the way the person has sent it? You want to receive animations, or you want animation to show partly before you open them so that you can know exactly what is contained in the particular animation that was sent. If you open your email, for instance, and somebody sends you an attachment, for instance, say a PDF file, when you open that inbox, you will see a kind of the picture of what the person has sent, like if we call it a thumbnail of what the person has sent, to give you just a feel of what is contained in the content before you then download the attachment or open it. Okay, so this is where you set that up. Do you want something like that in your Slack workspace or not? You set that up here. Another things here is according to one's discretion. Okay, message format, direct message and announcements and all that. Play a sound when a message is sent. You want the sound to play, tick on that. If you don't want it, you can just set whatever it is that pleases you here. How do you want messages to be marked, whether as read in the channel, in individual chats, or what have you? So when you view a message in a channel, should the message start where you left off? That should it start from the scratch, from the beginning of the message chart, or should it just take off from the ones that you have not read? You know, just like you open your WhatsApp group chat and you see unread messages, or do you want to begin from the very first message of the group? So those are the kind of things you set up here. When I mark everything as read, should you be prompted to confirm? So these are just basically the back end settings of your Slack interface. Okay, audio and video, that is what we have here. This is where you test if you have a problem with your Slack audio or your Slack video. You get to set that all up here. Okay, connected account shows you the external accounts that you may have connected with your Slack. Okay, if there are any account that you have connected or integrated into your Slack, you'll likely see them here. Privacy and visibility basically gives you the settings on what. I think this has to do with more of an administrative control. Okay, and if there are other people that you've blocked, you get to find them here. Okay, these are for contact sharing. Choose who is allowed to share your contact info and all that. So how you want people to see your information. Like some of you wouldn't like people to know your date of birth, that is the year, but you don't mind them seeing the day and the month. Stuffs like that. Everything you set on your profile, how do you want people to see it? That is what you get to set under privacy and visibility and other advanced features. You could just go through all these to have a feel of what you could do on that preference. So this is what preference actually entails. Preference is like the major settings of your Slack interface. So that said, we move over to, still on file, we head over to settings and administration. Okay, so this is where you manage applications that you have integrated to your Slack workspace. All right, and this is where you can customize your particular workspace. This is where you get to read reports on what is happening on your workspace. So manage apps basically take us to the market where you can actually integrate applications to your Slack workspace. All right, I'm hoping the network will be strong so that we can see what this entails. But while that is up, let's just continue with other things. We'll probably come back here to see what that have for us. Still on the file, administrations is where you customize your November class test run, that is your workspace. In my case, November class test running is the name of the workspace. This is still loading up. We'll check that up when it's okay. So this is for the app management. It is from these settings that you get to integrate different applications, unlike Trello that enables you to only integrate one application at a time when you're using the free version. The Slack workspace allows multiple integration. In this case, these are all the applications that have been installed on the present workspace that I'm working on. Okay, so Google Calendar has been installed, Google Drive has been installed, Meet has been installed. All these that are installed can actually be accessed without necessarily logging out of my Slack workspace. So this is basically what it means. Okay, if I want to check my Google Drive or I receive a message on my Google Drive, I would actually see that in my Slack workspace. Let's see if I can show you exactly what I am talking about. For instance, the other time we were having tutorial on Google Drive, and I asked some of you to click on the link that I shared with us when I shared the document. Sorry, it's still loading. Can everybody still hear me, please? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, me, I can hear you. It went off before, but I can hear you now. I don't know about others.
Okay, thank you. So,
Hey.
so if there are things, if there are, I don't think it's here. I just want to show you how it works when you integrate things. This is not supposed to be shown, but this is for my clients. Okay, so you can see here, Google Drive is integrated here. So if I receive any message, for instance, any kind of interaction with my Google Drive, you can see here, this was some of you when you're trying to gain access to the document I shared the other time via my Google Drive. So if I were to be on Slack at that moment, and some of you are trying to gain access to a document on my Google Drive, I'll receive the message. Okay, so I'll receive a direct message from my Google Drive on my Slack workspace. Okay, so this is Noble trying to gain access to this file. So, and directly from my Slack, I can just click on grant access and I will grant you access. So this is what happens when you integrate Slack to any third-party application. It means you can actually navigate or interact with that application without necessarily signing out of your Slack workspace. The same thing with Trello. You can see my Trello is linked to this Slack workspace. So anything happening on Trello, for instance, I also get a notification on my Slack. This is possible because I have integrated Slack to my other applications. I've integrated those applications, those third-party applications to my Slack workspace. Okay. So that said, still under files, analytics. I wouldn't want to spend much time on analytics. Analytics just basically gives you an overview of your interaction, your overall interactions with your Slack workspace, what people have been doing. This is how you monitor what others are doing on the Slack that you have added them to. Okay, right here is where you get to sign out. Okay, so if you want to sign out of any of these workspaces that you belong to, just click on any of them and you'll be prompted to sign out. This is how you close this section, just collapse it, and this is how you quit Slack entirely. Close and quit have almost similar functions, but quit is more strong. Quit simply means you are done with everything on Slack for that moment. Alright, so we'll move to the next, which is edit. Undo and redo simply means going back or moving forward. So if you made a mistake while you're doing something probably on Slack, you can go back by using the feature undo. Or if you want to proceed to what you were doing previously before you fell back to what you went to check out, you can go back to redo. You could use this when you're typing or checking out things on Slack. Cut, copy, and paste. This is very simple. Virtually all of you know how to use that, so I won't dwell so much on that. Paste and match style. This is a unique feature on Slack and some most or more recent application. When you copy, for instance, and you want to paste both what you have copied and the style. Say for instance, I copy everything here. Okay, if I copy everything here, for instance, I can be asked whether I want to copy just the text or I want to copy both the text and the style, that is the format of writing. Okay, so that when I want to paste, I'll have to, if I'm pasting just the text that I've copied, I can use paste here. But if I'm pasting both the text and the font size, the font style, and everything about what I have copied, I can use paste and match style. Okay, here is how you delete anything that you've highlighted. You can select everything on your Slack workspace by clicking select all. You want to find anything on your Slack workspace, you can use this feature, which is also the same thing as your search, if I'm not mistaken, this search symbol here. And keyboard navigations, this is where you get to know the shortcuts. Okay, the various shortcuts. So some of us who love to cram shortcuts a lot, this is how you get to learn all the shortcuts on Slack. So you want to see them, just use any of these. Next section, previous section, and there are other means that I'll be showing us to see the full list of Slack shortcuts. So we go to the next, which is view. You just like before we started this session, my Slack application was hanging, so I had to reload it. Okay, instead of shutting it down or quitting it, I can reload it. All right, by using this feature, just click on reload, and if you think it is still persisting, you can use forced reload. This is like a forceful reload of your Slack application. All right, toggle full screen. This is simply if you want to expand your screen more than it was. Probably you're seeing something small. Presently, this is a full screen, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see how that works. Okay, so this is the full screen of my Slack workspace. You can see something here is missing, which is the menu button. Alright, so to go away from that, just click on your escape button and you are back to where you were. So hide sidebar simply means you want to hide this section here. You click on it, you can see this section is gone. You can bring it out again by clicking on show sidebar. Alright, and the next thing is actual size, zoom in and zoom out. We already saw that previously. This one just basically increases your font size or decreases it, or leaves it at the 100% as it should be. Under go, we have switch channel. If you want to switch between these channels, we have all on red. Okay, basically everything you see here are what you will find on your sidebar. Okay, so you want to see all the messages that you have not read, you can use this feature to check them out. Threads, these are messages that you have participated in. Okay, all DMs, these are individual or personal or private messages that you have sent out or that has been sent to you. Draft are messages that you have not sent out but you have started with, or probably you did not complete typing them. Okay, they save into your draft folder. Mentions and reactions, as the name implies, these are either messages or chats, conversations where your name has been mentioned, or if there are reactions that have been made on probably messages or chats that you have sent out, you will get notification on them, and that you can find all of them here. Alright, saved items. If there are any items that you have saved on your Slack workspace, be it pictures, videos, files, documents, whatever, you'll find them all under saved items, and I'll be showing you how to save items shortly. Say you are in the chat section. For instance, I'm in the training room presently, and I want to save. Let me go to general room. General room, I need to make mention that whenever you open a new Slack workspace, you are entitled to the general room. So general room is like the room where you find everybody on the Slack workspace. So this is like the room for every member of this Slack workspace. As you can see here, there are over 164 persons on this Slack workspace. Okay, and other rooms may be different. For instance, announcements may have less. You can see this is 140. Unlike general that has 164. Random may have even lesser, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, random has everybody 164. Training has 138. So you can see. So general room is like the default room that every new member would always find themselves in. Okay, so when, for instance, you are in a particular room, okay, you want to save, let's say you want to save this file, all right, you can just simply put on your mouse over here and click on it, and you see the option. Sorry, this is a file I sent out myself. Okay, so this is somebody's message. I could just toggle my mouse over it. It's a reaction. I can tick on this, completed. I can use this. These are just features, smiley features. Okay, you can use this at discretion. This is how to reply on a thread. If I want to reply this particular message without actually starting a fresh message altogether, I will open the thread, so that this will be like, sorry, here, so that this will be like I am putting a particular message, okay, in perspective. It's like what you see on Facebook. You know, if you have been on Facebook and you see a post, for instance, and you see various sections, various comments on that post. Now you have a room to respond to a particular comment without necessarily having to share that message, because if you want to respond to a particular person in a group conversation without necessarily sending a message to all the group members, you can actually do that by opening a thread. So for instance, this particular person says good evening, and I want to respond to her in particular without necessarily typing good evening to everybody. I'll just open a thread. Okay, once I open the thread, you can see the thread has opened. So it means anything I type here now would fall under this person's message, not the group message altogether. So that's just basically what thread is all about. And then still under that, I can decide to share this message that the person has sent via this link, and this is how I can save this message. So if it is something very important, I can decide to save it here, and other actions I can take on this particular individual message is this. I can mark it as unread even if I have read it before. If I have to return to it to do something, I can mark it as unread. I can set a reminder about the message so that I get a notification. If there is a task that I need to carry out on it, I can set a reminder. Okay, I can copy it and share if I want to as a link. I can pin it to the group message. You can see 7 messages have been pinned here. So if I want to pin this one too, I can pin it there if it's the vital information that I want everybody to see. I can as well push to Zapier. Zapier is an application, a third-party application that has been integrated to Slack. Okay, it's like it's a CRM tool actually, and I would advise that some of you should also learn Zapier as well, so that you get acquainted with it. I can as well check out more message shortcuts that I can use to work on whatever it is that I want to act on here. Okay, so that said, where was I? That is for saved item. Channel browser, I just talked about you wanting to browse different channels that a particular workspace have. Okay, you are seeing that this workspace here has just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 channels. Okay, there are some companies that you'll be invited to, and you see over 100 channels, 500 channels, 1,000 channels. So In such a situation, you are looking for just one particular channel. Instead of having to start scrolling down, searching for what channel it is, you can use this browse channel or channel browser to just type in the name of the channel you are looking for. Okay. Once you click on channel browser, which is also the same thing here, once you click on it, it will take you straight to the option where you can search anything on the particular channel that you presently are. That is, you're looking for a file, for instance. I'm in the channel general, okay, and I'm looking for something in this very channel. Okay, I use the channel browser. I can search up the name of the thing I'm looking for, whether it be a channel, external, or a file inside another channel. I use a channel browser to browse out of whatever it is that, say for instance, I'm looking for the word common, for instance. Oh, sorry. Search by channel name. Sorry. This is, I missed something here, so sorry about that. This is used to search for channels, okay, not words or files. So if I have a particular channel in mind that I want to call up, I instead of scrolling down looking for the channel, just call up the channel name here, for instance, training room. Okay, once you see training room, it should automatically pop up the channel. I'm supposed to begin this with a hash symbol, if I'm not mistaken. Begin with the hash symbol, the training. So anything I type here will basically be seen somewhere here. You can see training rooms already popped up. Other channels as well will pop up, but you would eventually find the result that is near to what it is that you have typed out here. So this is basically what you do when you're searching for a channel in the list of several other channels. Okay, you can see I cleared it out, and the training room that was somewhere in here has moved down because I have not typed anything here. So that is how to use the search or channel browser feature. File browser, just like channel browser, this enables you to search for channels. File browser enables you to search for files. Okay, so if there are files that you have stumbled on at a certain time when you are going through some charts or some books, and you can't remember where the file is, you can use the file browser to search out where the file may be. If you go, once you remember anything at all concerning the file, it could be just one line or one name of the file. Search it with the name and the file will pop up. People and users basically shows you everybody in the Slack workspace that you belong to. Okay, in this case you can see different people in this very Slack workspace. If you have used your picture to sign up, you find it here. If not, you see avatars. Alright, so this is where you get to see everybody that belongs to your Slack workspace. Still under Go, we have apps. I already showed us what apps are. So these are where you see the marketplace, where you can actually integrate other applications. So let's see, in this case I showed us installed applications. You can also install other applications that have not been installed. Okay, here you can see custom integrations. If you have integrated anything, you can also browse features here. Alright, once you click on browse, it will take you to the general Slack market, where you see different applications that you can integrate into your Slack workspace. Okay, and you want to be sure that before you integrate any application, you want to be certain about the particular channel the particular workspace that you are presently. Okay, while this is still loading, okay, here we are. So you want to be sure of the particular workspace where you are working. That is what will be shown here before you integrate anything at all, so that when you are integrating, you want to be sure that you're not integrating something that is for your personal use onto your client's workspace. You want to be sure about that before you head on to integrate. So these are the various applications that you can integrate into your Slack workspace. You can see them. You can even integrate Gmail for Slack, Twitter, Zapier, HubSpot, and the rest of them. Okay, so just click on them and then you'll be shown the simple process to integrate the application to your Slack account. So that said, that was apps. The next thing we're looking at is workflow builder. Presently, this feature is not available because I'm using a free version of it, but I'll just give us an overview of how it works so that we understand exactly what it does. Workflow builder is like an automation tool. Okay, it helps you automate things on Slack. A typical example, say for instance, you are the creator of a particular channel, okay, and you want a situation whereby whenever a new person joins this channel, you want to send them a message. You want to welcome them with a message and then tell them to go ahead and read the messages that you have pinned at the top of the group or the top of the channels, so that they can follow the instruction there to accomplish a particular task. Okay, now if you begin to do that for every single person that joins this channel, it will be tedious. Imagine doing that for over 164 persons that belong to this workspace. Okay, so what you want to do, especially in the case where you are asleep at midnight and somebody newly joins your group or your channel at midnight, you may not be present there to welcome the person with a message. So that is where workflow builder comes in. Workflow builder is like an automation feature that helps you carry out a particular task. Okay, a particular task that is a routine task, okay, in your absence or where you may not be available. So when you open a workflow builder, this is what you see. You can see this is workflow builder that has been activated in this workspace. There are about 4 of them. Some I created myself, some are just templates that Slack already have. You can see the different templates that Slack have for different workflow builder. Okay, these are like automation tools. Okay, when this is used to welcome or a warm welcome for new teammates, you can use this. If this was to be a paid version, all I would just need you to is to click on setup and I would activate this. Okay, this is a way to triage requests. Okay, so these are different automation tools or automation features that you can integrate in your Slack. So here is what I want to show us. Let's say I created this actually. So this is what workflow builder looks like. How does it work? The first thing is it begins. You can see it here. It says start when someone joins general. What does it mean? That whenever a new person joins this channel general, this workflow builder or this automation tool will be activated. As soon as you join, what should happen? Send a message to person who joined channel. So you can see how it works. This is like a feature that has been integrated into Slack. So as soon as the person joins this channel general, to send a message to the person who joined the channel. Alright, and what is the message that should be sent to the person? It should send a welcome. Send a welcome message, of course, to welcome a new member to the general room. That is what this workflow builder does. And what is the message? Hello, variable user. You will not type this. It will be available there. It's unfortunate that I will show you anyway. I will share a link with us where I did this practically, because I'm presently using the free version. Okay, so hello variable user. Variable user simply means the person who joined the channel, which channel general. So let's say Alex, for instance, joined general newly. And what will happen? Alex will receive a message saying hello Alex, because Alex is the variable user. Welcome to variable channel. What's the variable channel in this case? Is general, because that's the channel Alex joined. So hello Alex, welcome to general. Do well to read up the pinned message so you are not left out from vital information. Alright, and then while I was creating this workflow builder, I had to add a button so that if Alex sees this button, he could click on thank you. As soon as Alex clicks on thank you, this thank you button will activate the next line of workflow, which is what? Send a message to person who joined the group. That is, send a message to Alex, because Alex still is the person who joined the group. In this case, what is the message that will be sent? You are welcome. And why was this message sent? Because Alex clicked on thank you. If Alex didn't click on thank you, then this particular next session of the workflow builder would not be activated. So this is actually what Workflow Builder looks like, and once you finish creating it, you click on Publish. So how do you create a Workflow Builder? You simply click on Create, and then it takes you through the process of creating one for yourself. Many of you might not be needing this, okay? Because most times all you will be doing with your Slack account will basically be to be chatting with your client, telling your client the progress of work and all that. But for those of you who may want to be an admin in your Slack workspace, then you will need this. Okay, so if you create a fresh account, a new Slack workspace, then this feature may be activated for you to use on your free trial. Alright, so that is that for Workflow Builder. It's all about automation. On that go, we move to the next, which is downloads. If there are things that you have downloaded, pictures, videos, music, whatever that you have downloaded on your Slack workspace, okay, this is where you find all of them. Alright, and then this is the last thing under go, that is a profile. Once you click on profile, profile opens up everything about you on Slack when you are signing up. So this is where you get to, customize your profile to look to your taste. How do you do that? Just click on edit profile. As soon as you click on edit profile, it gives you a form to fill. Okay, beginning with your full name, your display name. Okay, this could be a nickname, but I prefer you use a very polished name, which maybe one of the names that you use on your full name, alright, or something that people can always recognize you with. What do? You want to put that all here, your phone number, your time zone. Okay, you want to upload your picture as well, and then once you're done, you click on save. As soon as you save it, everything would show up right here. Alright, and this is where you can set your status, just like you do on WhatsApp. You want to put in your status, you want people to see exactly what you want them to see. Are you in a meeting? You can set yourself as being in a meeting. Are you commuting? That is, you're traveling. Are you out sick? Are you vacationing? Or whatever. Or if your option is not here, you can just type anything. You know the way you open your WhatsApp, sometimes your WhatsApp profile, and you see the status, hey, I'm using WhatsApp, something like that. This is where you can do that. Okay, and this is where you can set up. This is where you can see your preference. The same preference we showed here. You can navigate that here as well. This is where you see your account settings. Everything about your account, okay, your Slack account would be shown here. Alright. So this is your account settings. This is where you can activate, just like your Gmail. You can activate your two-factor authentication, link your email address, and what have you. Okay, everything about your Slack workspace. That is what you see here. That said, you can also view your files. I already showed us how to browse different files. If there are any files that you have shared or saved or downloaded, you can do that here. You can set yourself as away, just like some of you do on your WhatsApp. You don't want people to know that you're online, meanwhile you're actually online. So what do? You set yourself as away. You can do that here too. And you can copy your member ID so that people can use this ID to set you up on Slack. So that is that for your profile. And the next is history. History basically shows you everything, both most recent thing that you have done on your Slack channel and all that. So history recalls all your activities on Slack. You want to go back here, forward here. So this is the history section. If you don't want to go through this is where you can get the history here. So everything on history can be gotten here as well. Remember, we checked out channel browser not too long ago, and we're checking out general, training room, and the rest of them. So history just shows you what you have done on your Slack workspace so far. Windows here is to sign into another Slack workspace, okay, if you have another one. And then this is where you interact. If you have a problem with your Slack, you can check for updates here. You can check out the various keyboard shortcuts, so many of them at your own discretion. You can check it out. You want to communicate with the support, the Slack support. If you have a problem with your Slack, you don't know what to do, you can talk to Slack support group. They help you out by going through this. You want to troubleshoot. If you have a problem with your Slack, you troubleshoot with this option here. Whatever is new on Slack and every other thing, these are just on the side. Okay, if there's anything you need that you're having challenge with on your Slack application, you could just use the help option to navigate through that. Okay, so this is basically everything about Slack that you need to know. Virtually everything that you need to know. Once you understand all I've explained, then you're good to go. Everything here is what you are seeing on the sidebar. Alright, these are individual messages that were sent to me. Okay, these are applications that I have integrated with my Slack. You can see that we already dealt with all this. These are different channels on this particular Slack workspace. Okay, each workspace have their channel. You can see the January class have just 2 channels. Alright, and these are messages that people have sent to me individually. Alright, this is for my clients. I wouldn't want to open that again. So you can always invite people from here. You can search anything you want to search on your Slack workspace, be it on message, files, channels, people, whatever it is. Use the search option here. It will call it all out. This is another place where you can search for help. You want to communicate with Slack support, or you want to navigate some help features that you do not know how to find. You can use that here. This is another way to find your profile. Once I click on it, it will take me to my profile options. Okay, all those things that you set up on your profile, this is where you can get them alternatively. And with this, we are basically done with everything Slack. Okay, everything Slack, we're done with it with this session. That said, we move to the next thing, which is Zoom. Zoom, as I said to us in previous class, is also a conference tool, a conferencing tool, which can be used for webinars, can be used for teaching, and what have you. Okay, so to navigate your Zoom, just click on zoom.us, zoom.us, and you'll be brought over to this section. If you don't have a Zoom account, you can sign up here for free. Okay, but I actually prefer Google Meet to Zoom because Zoom has some stringent policies. Like you can't hold a meeting with two or more, with 3 participants or more with their free version. Okay, if you do, you will be limited to 45 minutes of meeting. After 45 minutes, you'll be cut off and you have to create a new link, or you have to join with the same link before you can continue that meeting. So every 45 minutes, you are limited to a fresh meeting. Okay, that is one disadvantage of Zoom that I do not really like. Unlike Google Meet, you can have a meeting for 2 hours and you will not be cut off. Alright, so Zoom and Google Meet almost have the same feature, except that the way they operate are quite different. So once you sign up on Zoom, just click on sign up. You go through the process that will lead you through the sign up process, and then on your Zoom, which also has a desktop client and a mobile version. Alright, you can download the mobile version, you can download desktop clients, and you can also use the website or browser version. I usually prefer using the mobile client if I am using my phone to join a Zoom meeting. If not, I will just use the desktop client or the browser.
Hello, sir, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, I think it's your
Yes, sir, but the class today is not audible at all.
I'm hearing you, sir.
What can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, very well.
Okay, so
Maybe it's network.
yeah, I suppose.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so we were talking about Zoom just now, and I said Zoom is a conferencing tool. Okay, and it can be likened to Google Meet. It is used to host meetings, it is used to host conferences, it is used for teaching, hosting seminars and workshops and the rest of them. And that you could actually sign up on Zoom for free. But the downside with Zoom is that you need to have a paid feature. If you do not have a paid feature, you will be limited to just 45 minutes of meeting on Zoom. Immediately after it is 45 minutes, if you are more than 3 in a meeting, once it is 45 minutes, all of you will be kicked out of the meeting. Okay, and that means you have to use the same link. If somebody else have not used the link, you have to use the same link to rejoin the meeting, or you create a fresh link to join them and to continue with your meeting. Okay, So that is the disadvantage of Zoom. However, if you are just only two of you using Zoom, then you have the privilege or the opportunity of using Zoom for 24 hours without having to be cut off the meeting. But once you're more than two, once you're three and above, it is just 45 minutes. So Zoom has both recording features and basically everything I showed you on your Google Meet training. Zoom has similar features like that. So once you sign up on Zoom, just click on sign up. It's free to take you through the sign up process. And then I told us that Zoom has both mobile clients, desktop clients, and browser version. I'm presently on the browser version. Okay. So if you have signed up, then you will see your name showing up somewhere around here, showing that you are presently signed into your Zoom account. And once you are there, you find yourself in a similar interface like this. You can just simply either join a meeting if you are using the mobile version. If you have the link to the meeting, you can simply just click on the link. It will automatically synchronize you and send you straight to the meeting, provided you have signed up on Zoom. A click on the link will take you straight to the meeting. And the good thing is that on Zoom you have the feature to either admit people or allow people to just join without being admitted. Okay, so you can set that up on Zoom. I think that is only present as a paid feature on Google Meet, all right, where you don't have to start accepting people or admitting people here and there as the host. So you can either join a meeting on Zoom by providing the link to the meeting. So once I click on join a meeting, it will take me straight to the place where I can impute the details of the meeting. Once I put in the details and I click enter, it would, let me just open that on another tab. Once I click on the details and click enter, it will take me straight to the meeting. Or I can create a meeting as a host, just like we did with our Google Meet. You can either create a meeting with video off, you can create a meeting with video on, or you can create a meeting so that you can only share your screen, no need of the video. So this is usually used for presentations. Alright, so let's try with video off, assuming everybody has signed up on Zoom. Okay, so with video off, it's asking me to sign in. Let me use my Google account so that you see exactly what it looks like. Alright, so here we are. I want to host a meeting, for instance. I click on host meeting. I hope you guys are still with me. Hello, can you hear me? Did I lost network?
No, me, I can hear you.
I can hear you too, sir.
Okay.
hear you.
All right. So if
I
you
can hear you.
so this is how you join a meeting. Okay, you put in the meeting link here and you click on join. Some meetings will require you to have a password before you can enter them. Okay, such a meeting, the host doesn't need to admit you. Once you put in the password, you automatically join the meeting. But if there is no password required, you can also join the meeting. But if the meeting does not have a password but still requires the host to admit you, then the host will actually need to admit you before you can join the meeting. So these are the 3 ways you can join a meeting on Zoom. Other than that, this is how you can host a meeting on Zoom. Just head over to your you can see my picture here is showing because I have signed up with my account details. So I click on host meeting. Once I click on host meeting, I can either use the share only feature or with a video on or with video off. So I use video off, for instance, and then it takes me to where I can set up the meeting. So you can see, because I have the clients, the desktop clients, I will always receive a pop-up. Do I want to start the meeting with my desktop client, or do I want to launch the meeting with my browser? Okay, so I can either use the two. I would prefer to just launch the meeting with my browser and see what. Usually desktop client is advisable. Okay, even Zoom themselves will ask you to log in with your desktop client, but I usually prefer the browser because desktop client sometimes takes time before it opens, because it has to boot the way your computer, if you have a computer. But if it's on a mobile version, then it's safer that way. But for desktop, when I say desktop, I mean PC, please. But for desktop, it takes time before it boots. You can see it's even presently hanging. So let's just use the desktop client and see if it would not take so much time. Okay, here it's loading. For some of you, your clients would prefer Zoom to Google Meet. So that is why I'm taking my time to show you how to use both, in case your client specifies either of them. There are some others that can be used for this same feature, like Loom, for instance. Loom is another conferencing app that could be used to achieve the same purpose. Okay, but for this training, I will just be showing us the Google Meet that I've already taught and this Zoom. You can use others at your own discretion. So this is what Zoom looks like. I'm opening it up so that you can see. So once you join Zoom for the first time, you will see a notification here asking you to use your audio, your computer audio, to join the meeting. Okay, if not, you can just turn it off. To switch off your audio, just tap on this microphone settings here and it turns off your audio. The same thing with your Google Meet. Okay, you want to check out your video, you can tap on this or close the video link or your camera webcam link. Okay, this is a security feature and this gives you access to, as an admin, okay, it gives you access to, as an admin, this gives you access to either lock the meeting, enable people to come in via the waiting room, or hide people's profile picture or your own profile picture. You can also allow participants to share their screen or not to share their screen. You can allow chats when the meeting is going on. You can see so many features here. You can allow participants to rename themselves. Okay, you can allow them to unmute themselves, or I can refuse to allow people to unmute themselves. I can decide to allow participants to start a video or not. Okay, and I can suspend participants from doing anything on this meeting. Okay, that is for security. Under participants here, once you click on participants, it shows you all those who are in this meeting. Presently, I'm the only one here, so if there are more people joining in here, you will see them here. And if I want to invite people to this meeting, I just come over here where I have invite. I click on invite, it gives me the link. I can either copy the link here, alright, or copy invitation. Preferably, I like to copy link, okay? But for formal presentations, you copy invitation. Or if you have emails of the people you want to join the meeting, you can send them an email via any of these. If it's a Yahoo mail, send them a Yahoo email, Gmail, or any other mail of your choice. Okay, so that's how you send out invitations to people. And of course, as you can see here, if anybody is talking, this is how you get to know those who are talking. And this symbol here shows that everybody's video is turned off. Is that understood? More feature here will take you to rename yourself if you want to, or you can mute yourself if you want to. Okay, so that said, other feature, you can close that by simply clicking on participants again, and it takes that off. This is chat section. Okay, this is where you see everything that people are typing out in this meeting. All right, and anything you type here in this chat box will show on everybody's screen here. Even as the trainer is talking and you type in anything here, you see it showing up here on your screen. just like it appears in the Google Meet. And sometimes it can be a distraction. And sometimes you don't intend sending a message to everybody. So if you have a particular person you want to send a message to, probably to the trainer himself or to a particular participant, you have to change it here. Just click on everyone, and then once you click on it, you can see it. This one here is telling me that I have 40 minutes left for this meeting. So that is one reason why I don't usually like using Zoom. Okay, and it's kicked me out just because I have 40 minutes left, asking me to go pro. Anyway, let's wait for it to pop up again so that I can show you other features, and then we close the Zoom for the day. Alright, so we are back, still on the Zoom, still on the chat. If you want to communicate with a particular individual,
it's like he's having a serious network challenge. I think so.
He's back. He's back.
Is it from me or from you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's from you.
Oh, from me. Oh, sorry.
It's from you.
So sorry about that. So, I was saying that this is the chat feature, just as you saw in the what's it called? In the Google Meet training. Okay, the chat feature enables you to chat with anybody. Okay, but if your chat here is set to everyone,
sorry, sir. Your screen is not showing again, sir.
Oh,
it's only me.
Okay, yeah, sir. Sorry, let me check that out. Give me a moment. Sorry about that. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir. Oh, can see now.
Okay.
Okay, now.
So this is where we were. I was saying that this is the chat feature for Zoom, just like you saw on Google Meet. And if you want to chat with everybody, you have to set this to everyone so that anything you type here will be seen on everybody's screen. Individual persons will see it on their screen. So if you type hello here now, everybody in the meeting will see hello showing up on their screen. But if you want to send a message to an individual, then you change this everyone to the name of the person. Once you click on everyone, you see the names of everybody in the meeting. Then you select the person's name and then send the message to the person if it is a personal message you want to send, so that you don't distract everybody in the meeting. So that is that for chat. Okay, this is where you get to share your screen. You click on share, and then you have these options. Okay, and this is where Zoom is richer than Google Meet. You can either share your Zoom screen, or you share other different screens. Okay, you can share an iPad or iPhone screen. You can share a whiteboard. You can share any tab of your choice. Okay, so you just have to choose which tab do you want to share, and when you have chosen that, you have to decide whether you want to share any sound coming from that particular tablet or not. If you want to also optimize for video clip, you just use the discretion to choose around this. You can also see the advanced feature. If there are other things that you can share, PowerPoint or virtual background, content from 2-second camera if you have another camera altogether, the portion of your screen, if you don't want to show everything on your screen, you want to only make people hear what your computer is saying, or if there is an audio you want to share with them without necessarily sharing your screen with them, you can use this option. If it's a video you want to share with them without sharing your screen, you can just use this option to upload the video and share that. Other things that you can share are files from Dropbox, So basically this is what enables you to share things on Zoom, okay? From your screen to files and to everything else that is shareable digitally. Okay, once you're done selecting, you just click on share, and the share will begin just like I'm sharing my screen presently with us. So that is that for sharing. And if I want to record, I can tap on record here and the meeting begins to record. Okay, so that is one feature that Google Meet does not have except for the paid version. And of course, I already told us that this meeting is limited to just 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, it would stop recording and you have to start afresh to continue the meeting. So these are just different reactions that you can use. Some meetings will require you to only be able to raise your hand, okay? So it depends on what kind of meeting that was hosted by the host, okay? If it is a meeting, a webinar, you might not be seeing all these features for webinars, but you see the feature that enables you to raise your hand if you want to talk or to make some reactions, all right? So this is basically everything that you need to know about Zoom. And of course, if you want to end the meeting, you can click on end and you will be asked whether you want to end the meeting for everybody or you just want to leave the meeting so that others can continue with your interaction. And with that, we come to the end of Zoom. So right about now, we would navigate to the next thing. Remember I told us we have about 4 things to cover for today. We are basically done with the major ones, which is Slack and Zoom. So now we look at the next thing that we want to attend to, which is basic CV writing or resume writing for freelance gigs. All right. So first, I want to talk about what is a CV to start with. What is a CV? When we talk about CV, we're talking about a document that shows our career pursuits over time, or how we have been able to participate actively or passively as a career person. Okay, let me just expand the screen so that you can see what I'm showing us. So here we say a resume or a CV is a very vital document aside our freelancer's profile. Okay, outside their profile, the next best thing that you can have as a freelancer is your CV or your portfolio. But in this case, we are looking at CV. Okay, so the CV tells a client some things about us, but particularly about our job experiences. Okay, also our skills and some details about our bios. Okay. However, many freelancers commit a common error. And what is that error in freelancing? They commit the error of submitting just one CV for all their gigs and proposals, okay? All their gigs proposals. And this ends up yielding no result. Even some of you who are not yet freelancers, you are guilty of this error. You are applying for an accounting job. You use one CV to apply. You see another job opening, a vacancy somewhere, for security job, use the same CV to apply for that job. Another CV, another application for maybe say a customer service personnel in MTN, for instance, you use the same CV to apply for that job, and you sit back and be wondering why am I not getting responses? The first reason you are not getting responses is that you use the wrong CV to apply for the right job. Okay, so in this training, we shall see in practice some common ways to craft a CV, a general CV, and then duplicate it to suit any job that we wish to apply for. And that is what I call a specialized CV. So quickly, I'll be showing us one of my CVs as a sample, which we will be using as reference point to create our own CVs. Okay, I hope you can still see my screen.
Yes, I can see.
Okay, so let's just check out. Usually I teach students to have what is called a general CV, and a general CV is a CV that contains everything about you, everything you can write about you. Please, it is not an autobiography. That's why I specify that CVs talk more about your job experience, your skills, and all that, not how many persons in your family and all those. No. Okay, so I usually advise students to have what is called a general CV, and then from their general CV they can create what I call a specialized CV. All right, so I'll be showing us 2 different CVs, for instance, and then teach us how to create a general CV and how to get a specialized CV out of it. Okay, but first let's see what a CV actually looks like. There is no one size fits all method to craft a CV. Okay, different designs for different CVs. In fact, there are some softwares that even enables you to create a CV online, but I don't usually advise you use those softwares because they usually have limitations. Create your CV yourself from scratch. It's not so difficult. Alright, it's not so difficult. So first I want to show us the general CV, even though I am yet to, let me just use this one. I think this is more updated. Okay, this is more updated, even though this is a specialized CV, if I'm not mistaken. So what are the aspects of CVs that you should not miss when writing a CV? The first is your biodata. Biodata talks about your name, your address, okay, and some information about how you can be reached or how you can be searched for. Alright, so the first thing is your name. Your full name should be the boldest part of your CV, boldly written, as you can see on mine. And lest I forget, your CV should be in PDF format, not in Word, Microsoft Word format or Google document format. You can use Google document to create your CV. I actually use Google Documents. No, I use Microsoft Word to create mine. Okay, and then you can convert to PDF format later on. So your name should be the boldest text written on your CV, and immediately after your name should come your address. If you're writing or creating the CV for an international purpose, for instance for freelance purpose, your address should end with the name of your country. Alright, but if it's just for a local job that you're looking for, maybe a job within Nigeria for instance, then you don't need to add Nigeria, just add your states. Alright, your street number is not necessary. Just give us the name of the street, the closest city or the city where you reside, the state, and then the country. And then the next thing you want to do is to put in your email, and your email should be clickable. I call it a clickable link, so that the person who wants to employ you, wanting to send you a mail, can easily, just by clicking on your link, the link to your email, can automatically send you a mail. How do you make a link clickable? Two ways you can do that. You can just type out the name of the link and click on spacebar. As soon as you click on spacebar, it would automatically make the link clickable, and that is the easiest way to make a link clickable. Alright, or you can use the link feature on your Microsoft Word or your Google document. Once you use the link feature, then you put in the link and then it becomes a clickable link. Is that understood? The next thing you want to put in is your LinkedIn profile. Or if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, which I discourage, you can use your Facebook profile if you are sure that your Facebook profile is professional enough. Ordinarily, I recommended that every one of you should create a LinkedIn profile, because these days, once it comes to professional job hunting, your LinkedIn is your best shot. So you want to be sure that your LinkedIn profile is attached to your CV and it is also a clickable link. Okay, you can also customize your LinkedIn so that it bears a username like this, because ordinarily when you create an account on LinkedIn, this is what the link will look like, but the end will have some numbers, which makes it look a little bit rough. But when you edit your profile on LinkedIn, you will see the place or the settings that enable you to change those numbers so that you can have a well-formed link like this, like you can see on my screen. So the last thing, making it clickable is simple. Just copy the link and click on your space bar. It will automatically make it clickable, provided you are typing on your Microsoft Word or on your Google document. Alright, so the last thing on your biodata should be your mobile contact. Okay, it shouldn't be more than 2. If at all you should make it 2, it shouldn't be more than 2. For those of you that have all the networks in Nigeria, please don't go putting all that. It makes it looks a little irresponsible. So 1 or 2 is okay. Okay, 1 or 2 numbers is suitable for your contact. So this is what should be on your biodata. all right, your personal information. Once you are done with this, the next thing you want to do is your career objective. Career objective talks about who you are and what you have to offer to the company that is hiring you. Okay, usually career objective just talks about who you are, what you have to offer. But while I was trying to understudy CV, I came across another hack. I call it a hack because it's not common, and the hack is simply to get a recommendation from a notable individual. A recommendation from them, probably from somebody you have worked with, or from your previous boss, or from a client you have done a job for. Okay, get a testimonial, kind of. It should be very brief. You can see how brief this one is. Get a testimonial like this from somebody of repute, and then you can attach it to the end of your career objective. Another name for this is personal statement, something like that, but I prefer career objective. Okay, so once your career objective has been written, then you could put in that testimonial from somebody that you have worked with, and then at the end it should be like a quotation from the person you have worked with, and at the end you can write out the name and the position of the person that gave that quotation. That's why I say you should be a person of repute, somebody that can be searchable online. Okay, that said, after the career objective, you can then move over to your professional experience, which is your job experience. Okay, and in this case you want to be sure that it is from the most recent to the least I wouldn't say least recent, but the last or the first job you ever did. But the most recent should be the occupied first place. Okay, and the format should be very simple, and whatever format you're seeing here should apply to every other ones that you have written. So what is the format? The name of the company should be boldly written. The location of the company where you worked should be boldly written. The role you occupied, okay, should be written just under the name of the company. And then the period when you worked. This thing here is supposed to align with this. It's a mistake, and I'm looking to go correcting it probably after this training. The period you worked should be under the location. Okay, like I said, there is no one size fits all, but as much as possible, try to make your work very neat so that the person reading through your CV will not have to struggle without their glasses to read what you have written. Alright, so you can see the way mine is well spaced. And then the next thing you want to write out are in bullet format the different job descriptions that you attended to while you worked in this company as this role. Alright, everything in bullet format. It shouldn't be more than 4 to 6, if at all it should be. It shouldn't be more than 6, so that it doesn't, normally your CV shouldn't be more than 2-3 pages. If not, it might become too boring to be read. So you want to make sure that you put your best foot forward. Okay, your best foot forward meaning your best work experience or your best skill. And then if it is a general CV, then it should contain every work that you have ever done in your entire life. Every job you have ever done in your entire life. Whether it's a cleaner's job, whether it's a teaching job, whatever job you have done at all. This is where it should enter, from the most recent to the very first job you did. Okay, following this format. Alright, following this format, just outline the jobs like that. And make sure that the dates are well spaced and well written, and the dates match the order. For instance, this is a job that I started in December 2021 till present. I'm still doing the job. This is the job I started December 2021 till present. I'm still doing the job. You can see. Then the next date under it, which is December 2020 till present. Okay, so this date here should align with this date. Okay, sorry, what am I saying? This date rather. The last date here should align with the first date of the next job. Okay, except if you have a reason why it should not be aligned, because sometimes you might be asked, what were you doing those periods that you missed? So in this case, you can see the last date here is November 2021. The next date is this, the last date here and the first date here. The last date here is October 2020. The next date here is December 2020. Just a month interval or 2 months interval, if I'm mistaken. Yeah, 2 months interval. And then this one here should align with the year that you have here. Let me use the next one to explain better. February 2020 to present. Okay, meaning I'm still in this. Let me use another one so that I really want you to understand exactly what I'm. Okay, fine. So look at this. This is April 2016 to April 2017. Okay, and this was the service year. Now the next date should be something after this, not before it. Except if you are doing two jobs, like I showed us just ahead of my profile here. Except you are doing two jobs at the same time. That's as you can see here, December 2021, December 2021. But if not, your date should match. So if this is 2018, the next time you should be working should be from 2019 or 2020. I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. So that is what I need you to do. Make sure it is well arranged. Okay, you can see the formats are just the same, so that you don't stress yourself trying to cram formats. One format fits all. You can just copy this format, paste it on the next, and start editing it. Once you are done, copy this one again, paste it here, and start editing to make everything fall in proper place so that you don't miss out on anything. Once your career objective, your work experience is done, then the next thing is your education. Your educational qualification and certification. For some of us, the last certificate we had is probably SSC, WAEC, okay? And since then, we have not had any other certification. So it will be to your own disadvantage if you don't have a certification. That is why I introduced us to over 4 different platforms where you can learn for free and get certificates. Okay, so this is where it becomes handy. You can see how this kind of beautifies your CV. Seeing the different certifications that you have gotten and different degrees. So you imagine that I do not even have all these certifications. The only thing I will have here is probably this one right here. And the last time I got that was in 2015. So if you don't have this kind of certification, it goes to show that you're either not a kind of person that updates his or her knowledge, or you are just not bothered about continuous education. So you want to be sure that anything you're carrying out, you include them and make it more recent. In fact, your profiles and your CV should always be up to date. If you are getting new jobs, always update your CV. That's what it means. So what format should your certificate take? The certificate should take this format. The name of the course that you did. Okay? The certificate awardee, that is the certificate awarder, that is the person's or the company or the organization that awarded the certificate to you. And of course the year when you achieved or bagged that certificate. Okay, again, the name of the certificate, okay, the name of the organization that awarded the certificate to you, and then the year of the certificate. The name in bold, you see that, the name in bold. Then certificate of completion, that is the name of the certificate, and the company that awarded it, and then the year. So these are the 4 things that make up your certification section. Okay, the same thing if it's a university degree. If it's a university degree, you can put in the name of the degree that you got, what kind of degree it is, the company or the school that awarded the degree, okay, and then the year the degree was awarded. Those are the 4 things that should go into your academic qualification and certifications. I take it for the last time. The name of the course, that is the course you did, the name of the course you took, the kind of certificate that the course is, okay, the company, organization, or the school that awarded you that certificate, okay, and then the year when the certificate was awarded. So these are the 4 things that should make up your educational qualification and certification. And lastly, you go to your core skills. Before then, under core skills, this is where you want to also again put your best skills forward. If your best skills are technical skills, you put it forward. You see the way I wrote this? Comfortable use of business communication tools like Google Suits, Microsoft Suits, Zoom, Trello, Zendesk, HubSpot, and the rest of them. Okay, so you put your best foot forward, which is usually your best skill, which is usually technical skills. Okay, that can actually market you well, because your CV is basically a marketing tool for yourself. It is what markets you in your absence. Where people cannot speak for you, your CV should be able to speak for you. Alright, and it all boils down to what you have on your CV. So you want to write out the major skills that you have. Don't just go and start writing things like I'm a perfect communicator, or I have good writing skills. Those are skills, yeah, but there should be a way you can position it so that it makes more sense and makes you look presentable and more professional. So in this case, what I'll just be doing is probably at the end of the training, I'll just share one of my CV with you guys. And then please don't copy and paste. Make sure you just use it as a guideline. Don't copy and paste the CV. Because sometimes there is something called plagiarism tests. And there's also a machine that specifically screens CVs. Okay? Once the machine screens your CV and sees that what you did was copy and paste from another CV, the machine will mark you down. In a range of 100, the machine can mark you down to 2 or 1%, and that means the CV was copied from the internet. So you don't want to take that chances. So this is how you put out your core skills. Alright, after your core skills, then you put in what is called additional information. For some persons, this is the section they write as hobbies. But for a professional document such as CVs and resumes, hobbies are of no use to your client. Nobody wants to know whether you like traveling, you like playing football. Nobody is interested in that. Okay? But there are ways in which you can present those hobbies that makes them look professional. For instance, you are the type that loves to read. Take for instance, you love reading a lot of books. Okay? Imagine the way I placed it here. I said my entire career has been driven by my passion for reading and learning, because it keeps me up to date with new trends, industry changes, and innovations. You can see, unlike if I just come up to this section and I say I love to read, how does that add any value to the company that intends to hire you? It doesn't in any way. So you want to position that hobby in a way that it somewhat aligns to the skills that you have already put up as something that you are good at, or to some job experience that you already mentioned at the top. So in my case, I can link up this reading and learning. Okay, I can link it up to the skill of training and presentation. You see that? And I can link it up to my job experience as a teacher. You see that? So this is how everything on your CV should be linked to each other one way or the other, so that it doesn't look as if you're bringing something alien entirely and trying to make it stand alone. I love to teach and train others, which have helped me build a teamwork spirit among my colleagues. Okay, so this also links up to this training skill, and it also links up to my teaching skill as well. And there are some others there that talks about social community, sales and marketing. It links us to some courses I have taken under sales rep and the rest of them. So you want to be sure that everything on your CV have one link or the other, so that nothing is standing as an alien on its own. So that is that for additional information. And lastly, we have references. Any reference that you are using should be a reference that can stand for you, one, and the person should be somebody of repute. Don't go and use your younger brother as a reference when you know that your profile or your portfolio is even much more than your younger brother's. Alright, and it's not usually advisable that you use the person that is of the same family as yours. That is the person that bears the same surname. You can use a friend, okay? Provided the friend knows you well and can actually answer questions on your behalf. Like this person here is my friend, a very good friend, my childhood friend. Okay, and we started a company together, and presently he's in Brazil. All right, so I can boldly use him. If I don't tell you, you will never know. All right, because if you go ahead to Google his LinkedIn profile, what you see there, you probably be thinking this is somebody that was born outside the country. Okay, so before you use a friend, you want to check their profile and see if it is profile that can actually be presentable to an organization or to other persons. All right, so the 4 things that should go into your reference should be the name of the person, the position or the kind of job they do, the position they occupy, their email address, and their LinkedIn profile. You see how important LinkedIn is. As far as profession is concerned, LinkedIn is very vital. And where the person does not have a LinkedIn profile, you can use the Facebook account. Okay, like the case of this lady here, she doesn't have a LinkedIn account, so I use her Facebook account because she's a politician. So I once worked with her as her technical advisor, so I just had to, and she was the same person that gave me that recommendation you saw under my career objective. So this is how you can set up your CVs. Okay, this is how you can set up your CVs and ensure that you put in your reference. There should be nothing like reference available on demand under references. No, there should be nothing like that, please. Whatever reference you are willing to give out later, give out that reference immediately you're sending out your CV, because sometimes the company you're hoping to get you employed can go as far as checking up your reference on your profile or the references you submitted, and if you do not have a reference there, it can disqualify you, trust me. So make sure that your references are all set up and make sure that the person is aware that you are using them for a reference. Don't go and put in your enemy's name, because they will lash you and you will lose an opportunity. Okay. Somebody may be asking, should I include the phone number? No, there is no point. Once you put in the name, the email of the person, the name, their job, and their LinkedIn profile, that's fine. So that is that about CV creation. Okay. So a couple of things I want to show us. I made mention of general CV and specialized CV. Now, under specialized CV, some things are very crucial to be changed. Okay, when we say have a tailored CV or have a special CV for every job you apply to, it doesn't mean you should go and start typing all these things all afresh. No, that is the essence of a general CV. If you have a general CV, all you need to do is, if this, for instance, you can see this one here is a CV I created for the role of customer service and virtual assistant. Okay, now from this CV, if this was to be my general CV, from this CV I can create another CV that is basically for sales. All I need to do is I will tweak some of the things I have here so that it fits the role of a salesperson. Let me show you an example. Let me see if I can find an example here. In this case, this is a different CV. Okay, here you can see the top here is the same. You can see here, found and president of sales. Let me see. I also want to show you a couple of things that highlight the difference. Okay, great. Now look at this. Look at this section. This Godwin Global Resources. Can you see this section here? Now I said I created this profile, this particular CV. I was using it for customer service and virtual assistant role, that's based on the skill that is demanded of virtual assistants. Okay, but look at this one here. Look at this Godwin Global Resources here. Did you see the name of the company and the location is the same as this one? Look at the job role, executive assistant to the CEO, and look at the year, October 2020 to November 2021. What is the difference here? It is just the job role. Here I was acting as a part-time salesperson, and here I was acting as an assistant. Why did I change that? Because when I was applying to this particular job, the job needed a salesperson, so I had to change this role. When I was applying for this one, the job needed a virtual assistant to a CEO, so I had to change it to this role. Now if you look at the job role, the job task that I occupied or that I played in, you can see the first one, patiently led prospective clients, blah blah blah. Look at it here. patiently led, perceptive client, blah blah blah. You see, no difference. See this one, responsible for managing social media handle and so on and so forth. The same thing here. The third one, empathetically managed. You see that, the same thing here. So what has changed? Just the role. So this is how you can create a specialized profile out of a general profile. All you need to do is just copy and paste, because it is your CV. So you are not copying anybody but yourself. So you have to tweak some things so that it matches the job description that you are trying to apply to. Another example is the next one here, which I think is this MacPio Digital Agency. This is like my digital marketing agency. Okay, here let's look at the other one here. If you look at this one, this is my own personal company. Here I am the founder and the digital marketing strategist. Okay, but here, what do we have here? Customer service representative and virtual assistant. Okay, why? Because it is tailored to the kind of job description that is needed. All right. Now, if you look at the job task, the first one, confidently manage social media pages for brands and the rest. Look at this, confidently manage social media pages for brands and so on. The next one, reliably delivered result that increase sales for brands. Look at it here. You see the change I made. Diligently recorded the daily sales transaction. So the role that you occupied should make meaning with the task that you are putting out. Okay? Other things can remain the same. Let the job description, in fact, what should give you an idea of what to change should be the job description that you have read. If the job description says they need a customer service representative, and there was a job where you have acted as a customer service representative, you acted as an assistant to the CEO, you acted as a social media manager because you're helping them to manage their social media handle, and the rest of that, you see, you were basically doing multiple roles in the same job. What do? You look out for the job description of a job that you are applying for. If the job says they need a customer service person, out of that same CV that you have created where you once did or where you once acted as a customer service, change that role that you have there. Change it to customer service role, because you have actually done the customer service job before. Even if what you have ever done is boy, like some of you that have served your master and your master has paid you off, that role on its own is even a sales role. It's a sales rep's role. I hope you know. So you can, if somebody needs a sales rep role, you can change this from customer service to a sales rep, and then try to fit in task that you did as a sales rep inside this particular place. The same company, but different roles that you occupied, so that it makes sense with the vacancy that you are applying for or the job description that you are applying to. That is just how you can tweak your general CV so that it matches another CV for a particular job. This is the way to avoid using just one CV to submit or to apply for 10,000 jobs at the same time. Okay, so like I said, I'll be sharing just one of my CV with us so that we can use that as a guide to create or craft our own CVs. So again, craft one general CV so that when there are other jobs that you want to apply for, you can always create a specialized CV out of it. So that is that for CV and resume creation. We'll move to the last thing for today, which is, sorry, we'll be skipping portfolio because of time. We'll move to the last thing for today, which is crafting a winning proposal or cover letter on Upwork. Ordinarily, you should not send out a CV for job application without a cover letter. It is highly unprofessional. For every CV that you are sending out, it should go alongside with a cover letter. Okay, a cover letter is like a document or a letter that you are sending out to whoever is recruiting you, okay, showing some basic clues why you are fit for the job. Okay, so what your CV cannot contain, your cover letter should contain it. Cover letter is like a document that you use to convince the person who you are applying to that you have read their description and that you are fit for the role, that you have some skills. In fact, you can even profile some solution. Okay, so that is what cover letter does for you. And then when it comes to proposal is something that I had to include into this training section because it is of essence when it comes to Upwork creation. Okay, whenever you are applying for a job, for instance, on Upwork, you will be sending what is called a proposal, and a proposal consists of your letter, which is a cover letter. It also consists of your bid, okay, your job bid, how much you want to charge for the job. It also consists of your portfolio, if you have anyone, or your CV, if you don't have a portfolio, or even if you have the both, you can send both. And of course, if you have certification that gives you an edge, that shows that you're qualified for the stuff, you can also send in your certification. All right. So what is proposal cover letter for freelancing? We say a winning proposal should not be an autobiography. That is the bullet point. I'm trying to define the important points that you should take note of. I already described what a proposal is, a cover letter, and the rest of them. So what are the things you should note? Proposal should also focus on what the client should benefit from hiring you, not just on yourself alone. The reason why many freelancers don't get a response from their client is because many times when they send their proposal, they end up praising themselves. I have worked for this company for 6 years. I was a supervisor for 10 years. The client is not interested in all that. The client is interested in, if you have worked as a supervisor for 6 years, how will I benefit from that, your experience of supervision? How will I benefit from it? If you have worked as a customer service representative for 10 years, how will that benefit me if I hire you? Because it is my money that I am considering here, not your skill. Not your job experience. So can your skill deliver the job I want, or deliver the task I want, before I can pay you the money? That is basically what is going on in the mind of a client. Okay, so a proposal should offer possible suggestions to the problem that a client seeks to solve. You should have a cover letter tailored to fit the job description. All right, you should have a CV or a resume tailored specifically to the job description or posting, and it should be sent alongside a portfolio of previously completed jobs that are related to the new job posting being applied for. All right, so let us quickly check out what a proposal looks like. Here I'll be taking us to a client's message. I have a message on Upwork, so I'll use that as a live example to us. So this is a message. If Adams is here, Adams, this is a client that gave me the Discord job, which you are doing for me presently.
Yeah,
So
I'm here.
So this is a client that gave me the Discord job. This client particularly, not this one, sorry. This one that have 5 messages. You can see he sent the message while I was still in this training. So let's see if I can read out the message. So here is the last message I sent to him. You can see I was telling him that I have other whitelist for sale. Okay, so this is how you interact with clients on freelance side. So he's asking me, saying no bonus. Also, it's good you can see this for yourself. He's saying no bonus for the whitelist. Okay, and anyway, this is for later. Let's just see what brought us here. Look at this. This is let's view the proposal that brought us here. Oh, it has been removed. Okay. Let's see another proposal then. Let's see another proposal so that you understand exactly what a proposal looks like. So this is a job description. This is the kind of job description you will find on Upwork. So let's read what this person says here. This person says, we interview participants based around the world. Okay, we are seeking someone to join our team as an online interviewer working full-time. You will have the opportunity to speak to all types of interesting people, from couples to subject matter experts to families to high-profile people and more, based all around the world. We are a fun team who invest a lot in our people. Please only apply if you have a high level of reading, spoken, and listening in English. It is so important that you are a good communicator. You enjoy talking to people and are organized, as you would be required to keep certain documents updated as we track our conversations with every participant. Okay, so this is the job description. It also says, note, you must have excellent internet. We cannot progress any further with any participants whose internet quality is poor or unreliable. More information online, www.askthepeople.tv, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is job description. I saw this job posting and then I clicked on, I will show us that when we begin to create our own account. I click on view proposal and it takes me to where I had to write out a proposal. Okay, so in writing a proposal would consist of the following. It will consist of the profile with which you want to submit your proposal. It consists of how much you want to be paid for the job. Of course, this is per hour. You can see $15 per hour. And then forget about this, I'll show us this much later when we begin to talk about Upwork. So it consists of your cover letter. Okay, you can see the cover letter, which is what we'll be reading very soon. Then if there are questions that the client may want you to answer, then you will need to answer those questions. Okay, and then if you have a portfolio or certificate that correlates or aligns with the job description, you can send them. You can see in the case I sent this certificate. So let's sorry, excuse me. Let's begin with the cover letter so that we see exactly what that looks like. We have read the job description. Let's see what the cover letter looks like. Now, if you know the name of the client who has posted the job, it is advisable you begin with their name, not hello ma, hello sir, hello recruiter, whatever. If you know their name, begin with their name. And hopefully from Wednesday, I will show you tricks that you could use to trace their names. All right. So once you begin with their name, it gives them a sense of belonging, that you are actually addressing this letter to them, and it's not just a letter that you went to copy from internet and you're pasting to them. Okay, so you begin with the name, hello Mauricio. Okay, I tried clicking. This was what I actually did, is what I'm explaining here. When I read this job description, I went to their website, I checked the website, played around the website, did a few things, and then I began with the proposal by writing, I tried clicking to watch your programs on your website and was redirected to your YouTube channel, but I got a prompt that reads, channel doesn't exist. You may want to fix this, or you may want to fix that. All right, now this is what I call a hook. Why did I call it a hook? It is called a hook because this line alone will tell the recruiter, or will tell this lady here, that you have done something on the job description. That is, you have gone an extra mile to actually discover a problem, even when they have not paid you for it. There are different ways you could give a hook. Some persons, the way they give their hook is they offer a solution to the problem that the client has described in their job description. Okay, so your hook can be different. Your hook can even be a common quotation, a famous quotation that aligns with the job description that the person has written, or something around the industry that the person wants to employ. Okay, so a hook simply means something to grab the attention of the person who wants to recruit you, or the person who posted the job. So if you were the person who posted this job and I sent you this kind of introduction telling you that your organization's platform has a problem, it would ordinarily want you to read further down to see if there are other problems that you are not aware of. So this is how to get the attention of clients. And this is like a simple secret that so many people applying for jobs on Upwork don't know. And this is where many freelancers fail. In fact, many freelancers even go ahead, copy and paste cover letters. And you know, some of these clients are very smart. Once they see a copy and paste work, they know. So after this hook, I then went straight into the cover letter proper. I said, that said, I am intrigued and excited by the job description you posted here. I'm a teacher, a trainer, a social media manager, and a LinkedIn certified customer service representative. And as such, I am a people person. Meeting and interacting with people is a hobby that comes naturally to me. Why am I doing this? Why am I using this line? I'm using this line because the person ordinarily said you need to be interacting. In fact, one of the conditions is that you must, what was that stuff? It said something about you must love to talk to people, something about that, okay? You will have the opportunity to speak to all type of people, interesting people, from couples sharing matters, to families, to high-profile people, and more based around the world. There's a place, I just can't figure that out right now, okay? But it was saying something about you being an interactive person, okay? So that was the essence of this line. What am I trying to portray to us? That every single line of your cover letter should be tied to what the client has described in their job description. The client should not be talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're talking about 100, 101, 102. No. If the client is talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, you are also talking about 1, 2, 3, 4. But don't go and start talking about 1, 2, 3, 4 the exact way the client said it. No. You have to pick it out and elaborate or give a description around what the client has said. The client says he wants a people's person. Create a story around that to show that you are a people's person. The next term, it says, I wrote that I have hands-on experience helping challenging clients navigating through tough policies and situations, interviewing candidates for jobs, trained participants in both workshops and live events, and as such, I communicate with people on daily basis. You see how I created a sentence and linked it to another thing that the client said he wants, because the client said something about communicating with people all around the world. So I also make her understand that ordinarily the nature of what I do helps me to communicate with people, different time, from different places. So you can see how this thing links to the job description, and it makes sense that way. That is how a cover letter should be. Don't just go and be writing what comes to your head without making reference to the job description that you are applying for, because there is never a job without a job description. So your job description that you have seen should guide you on what you are writing or how you are applying. It would be an amazing experience to be an online interviewer and to join your team in this uncommon yet interesting project. And then I asked, how exactly does the interview hold? Via Zoom or what means? It would be interesting to know. I do look forward to your feedback. Thanks. Sincerely, I put in my name, and that was the end of the cover letter. You see it? So this is how you can tailor a cover letter to fit the job that you are applying for. Now, on Upwork and some other freelancing websites, but basically on Upwork, some clients have understood over time that freelancers are fond of copying cover letters from internet and pasting it to them just like that. So a good number of clients would ask you questions, personal questions concerning the job role that you are applying for, because they know that this kind of questions, even if you copy it and paste from the internet, they would easily figure that out. So they expect that you take your time, or it is even advisable. I tell students, if you ever find a job like this where a client drafts questions for you to answer, make sure you take your time to answer this question very well first before you even start writing your cover letter, because the client will first read these answers that you supply to this question before they even look at any other thing. So the answers you supply here will determine whether you are even qualified to be interviewed before we talk about giving you the job. Some jobs, once you answer very well, they will not bother interviewing you again. They will just give you the job directly. While some job will want to learn more about you based on the answers you supply. So you want to be sure that any job description you find that requires you to answer questions, please diligently answer those questions. In this case, the first question is, what type of experience do you have interviewing someone or talking to people in a job setting? That's the question the client asked, and I answered, I have helped the clients here on Upwork conduct a talent hunt for the best fit for our project. This required that I post about the job, interview prospective candidates, and screen the best fit for the job. It was a lot. I made a mistake here, but the client even ignored it. It was a lot of back and forth communication that exposed me to different categories of people. Okay, so you see, you don't just talk about yourself, you also try to chip in what the client may end up benefiting. So in this case, the client understands that, okay, he or she will be dealing with an experienced person who has experience in hiring people and interviewing people, and it matches the kind of job description that he or she mentioned, because you will basically be an interviewer. The next question, what do you like about talking to people? Talking to people exposes me to different possibilities, beliefs, philosophies. It is usually intriguing to learn other people's views of different issues of life. I specifically used this tone because at the job description here, the client said you'll be talking to people from where? All around the world. So you have to make them understand that you are not a racist, that you are more particular about some particular color or some particular belief. Okay, so that's why I said it will be intriguing to learn from other people's views about different issues of life. So it covers basically everybody, not some particular set of persons, not people that think like you alone. Okay. After looking through our website, what caught your eye or are you most interested about? I love the fact that people were freely sharing their views. Of course, if you didn't check their website, you wouldn't even be able to answer this, and they will know whether you checked or not from this answer you supplied. Okay. So I love the fact that people were freely sharing their views and did not seem to be bothered about what questions they were asked. Though I noticed the redirection to your YouTube channel delivered a null effect. Your channel may be off the radar. Okay, so this is like a problem I cited when I visited their website, and then I offered a solution to them. So this is one way to buy into the emotions or the mind of a client, to show that you are a problem solver. You can identify things easily and try to create a solution. Okay. The next thing here, why would you like to work with us? The caption on your website does resonate with me. Your organization claims to be the home for understanding humans better, and I did see that in different categories and races of people you interview. Okay, you indeed do not discriminate in a bid to truly understand people. So all these things were based on what I saw on their website. So it is not a cram and pour effect. It is not a copy and paste from the internet effect. You have to give your time to it. Alright? And you might even give these perfect answers and still not even get an interview. But just make sure that you give your best at all times. Why should we select you to work with us? An online interviewer. Okay? I do not boast to be your best fit, but I am a unique breed who believes in the project and go all out on it. I am an amazing communicator and can spot loopholes very quickly with the intent to prefer solutions where necessary. And you know the amazing thing, I already did that here. So it was easy for me to just convince them. This would be handy for the growth of your project. You see what I did here? I did not just tell them what I can do. I also made her understand that even the skill I have will be beneficial to your own organization. So that is how you want to answer the client's question. Not just telling them you do this, you do that, and you do this. No. Tell them how what you have as a skill can benefit them. That is the key to unlocking the opportunity of getting hired. Okay, and lastly, You can see the things I sent here. Certificate of completion, building rapport with customers. You see, this corresponded with the kind of job description where you have to be talking to people, because ordinarily customer service job is a job that requires you to be talking and communicating with different people. Certificate of completion, creating positive conversation with challenging customers, which also aligns with interviews. Before you can even think of helping the customer solve their problem, you have to first understand what the problem is, and you can only do that when you ask them series of questions. Okay? Certificate of completion, customer service core control strategies, because this interview will be done online. Okay, so you want to show that you have the skill to actually communicate with people online, not just face to face. That was the essence of sending it. There are so many certificates I have. I think I've shown some of you some of the certificates I have. So these are just some of those certificates that corresponds with this job description. That is why I have to select out of these so many certificates I have the ones that fit this job, and then I sent it out. Certificate of completion, customer service, problem solving and troubleshooting. Certificate of completion, how to be an adaptable employee during change and uncertainty. Okay. Certificate of completion, selling with stories, part 2. Alright. Certificate of completion, soft skills for sales professional. I didn't even send my CV here because I didn't see a need for it. But with these answers, the cover letter and everything I sent, the lady had no choice than to send me a message instantly. Out of over 50 people that applied for this job, she sent a message after then. And what was the reply I got? She said, these are the messages I sent. Okay, they said, thank you for your answers and showing interest in this job ad. Pius, I have shortlisted you as I would love to talk with you. I will get back to you. I will get back in touch to schedule a time for us to talk over a Zoom call. Okay, you see? So, your proposal will give you access to an interview, not necessarily the job. It is at the once you are able to secure an interview, you are 80% close to getting the job. That is the secret of Upwork. Once a client is interested in having an interview with you, it means out of the so many proposals that they have screened, you are one of the brilliant ones they consider will be fit for the job. So it is at the interview you now go and showcase your final skill to show that truly what you delivered in the proposal was done by you, not some copy and paste. Okay, so please bear with me. I have been overwhelmed with the amount of interest in this ad. You see that? I have been overwhelmed with the amount, meaning there are a lot of people who apply for this job. I hope to get back to you within the next 1 to 3 weeks. Alright? And then you respond, and that is how it works. So you can see how proposal basically works online. There are different proposals, alright? Different things that you can do. What I'll just do, this is basically how it works for proposal, cover letter, and the rest of them. Alright? So what I would just do is I would send another link to the previous recording that I have had with other sets. Okay? So that you would also watch how I answered a different kind of proposal question in those sections, so that with those ideas coupled with these ones I just showed you, because I don't like showing the same thing for different sets, so that there is always something new, because this one is more recent, as at the last time I hosted a training I have not seen this job application yet. Okay, so it was most recent. This job application is more recent. That is why I am showing it to you, so that you understand how. You can see it was just February 26th, not too long, about some weeks ago. That was when I applied for this job, and I got a response almost immediately. So I'll be sharing other links with us on how I have attended to other similar questions on Upwork, so that you can borrow some ideas from them and join it with these ones that you have learned here, and then equip yourself better in writing proposals. Another one I may just want to show us is, let's see if there is another. Of course, there would always be another. Let's see if there is another. Okay, like this one here. Alright, this is one of the most recent ones. Let's view the proposal. Okay, so here is the proposal. what does the job description entail? The proposal says Slack review a question test. Okay, you can imagine something I taught you guys. So these are the kind of job you basically see online. We are looking for a person with a high level of knowledge and relevant practical experience to review 50 questions related to Slack. You see the Slack we just touched today. The test must contain 3 types of questions: simple choice, multiple choices, true or false, allocated among 4 skill levels: beginner, intermediate, advanced, expert, and organized among several task-based subtopics. This is just the job description, alright? And then I applied for this job. The job is $150. That is just a fixed job. Once you finish the job, this is what you get. So I applied for the job, and then this was the letter I wrote. Of course, you can see questions again, questions that you need to answer. So let's see what the cover letter entails. I said hello there because in this case I tried to get the client's name. I couldn't, because in some cases I will be showing us that by Wednesday. In some cases you will not be able to see the client's name until the client responds to your letter. That is the only time you'll be able to see the client's name, or after you have sent a proposal, then you'll be seeing the client's name somewhere around here. I'll show us that eventually by tomorrow, how to figure out a client's name from their feedback. Okay, so this person, I understood that this person needed somebody who is well grounded on Slack. So I wrote to her, hello there, I'm a tech support trainer, and Slack is one of the tools I teach participants of my training every month. Okay, I have a recording of it on my YouTube channel. I also use Slack to communicate daily with some of my clients here on Upwork, and as such it affords me frequent usage and learnings. I also have an online community of tech support persons consisting of over 3,000 members on Telegram, alright, some of whom I have trained on using Slack. I understand you need an expert who knows the nitty-gritty of Slack to review 50 questions. I will be open to helping with that. Do let me know who your target audiences are. Thanks. Okay, you see the way the cover letter is very simple. First of all, I told her of the experiences I have using Slack, and then I ended up telling her that I would be open to help answer the questions that she has as far as Slack is concerned. Eventually, I later figured out that this person was trying to write a book on Slack, okay, a kind of targeted workbook which she hopes to sell. So she needs somebody to review the questions. That was what I understood that she was trying to do. So I applied and she responded. But before then, let's look at some of the questions she asked me. Why do you think you are a good fit for this particular job? As a virtual assistant, I use Slack to communicate daily with my clients here on Upwork. More so, as a tech support trainer, I teach a live session on Slack every month. I do have one of such sessions recorded on my YouTube channel. Okay, and then the next question she asked, what experience you have in technical writing? Can you provide sample work, links to articles, etc.? Now, some freelancers will see this question and they would decline to apply for this job just because they don't have this experience. But watch what I did. I am a skilled writer, though I do more online trainings than writing. Thus, more live presentations than pen to paper works. And then I supplied a link to my YouTube channel. So even when you don't have the exact skill that a client needs and you have a related skill, tell the clients that you have a related skill, even if you don't have the exact skill, so that it doesn't write you off entirely or make you lose an opportunity altogether. The last question she asked, what subtopics will you consider for creating these tests? So this is just a question that came out of answer that came out of my head. I just created some subtopics, and these are like subtopics that I showed some of you just today while I was teaching you. Slack, an essential communication tool for SMEs. I told you about how Slack can be used for different organization needs. Okay, how to use Slack, I taught you just this evening how to do that. Some features of Slack, I showed you all that. Integration of third-party applications with Slack, I also showed you that. So these are just easy ways, and you could see how it came naturally because it's something I do almost every month. Okay, so I just coined out of the work I do subtopics on Slack as a communication tool. And then what did I do? Look at the two certificates I sent out. Certificate of completion, learning HubSpot. Certificate of completion, Slack essential training. So you see that these things, why did I use HubSpot? Because HubSpot is a CRM tool. And I told this particular person that I am a tech trainer. So it shows that I use more CRM tools almost every day. So I had to show her that I also have certificates on CRM tools, not just teaching it and not just knowing about it. And instantly when I sent this, the client responded with a question. Let's see what that is. What was the question? She said, okay, yeah. Hi Pius, thank you for submitting the proposal. We are definitely interested in collaborating. You see that? I'm attaching a review guide for more details about the project. Please read it and confirm you are okay with the requirements. Okay, so this is just what you will get. The major challenge that most freelancers have is how to get the client's first attention. That is the major challenge. Once you are able to get the client's first attention, then you are close to getting the job. Okay, so this is basically how you can structure your proposal writing, your CV writing, and then using everything eventually to practically apply for jobs. All right, so this is the end of this session. At the beginning of next session, which is on Wednesday, we will be creating our first account. So this is what I would do. I will drop one of my CVs in the group, and then I would expect that before Wednesday, each and every one of you should have crafted your own CV. Should have crafted your CV. The first person to submit their CV to the group would be the person I will be using as an example to create their first Upwork account. So if you are able to provide me your CV between now and Wednesday, then it means it is your CV that we'll use to create an Upwork account. And I would actually prefer that the person has a laptop. But if you don't have a laptop, don't be discouraged, because what I actually do in trainings like this, the reason why I said I prefer somebody with a laptop is because next week it will not be me sharing my screen anymore. It will be that person who has created their CV sharing their screen. So I will give you access to share your screen. I will be giving you instruction. It will be a live class like this. I will give you instruction on what to do. You just follow the instruction. I'll tell you what to do, and you create your account from scratch to finish. So I will be expecting that before Wednesday, hopefully, 1 or 2 people will have submitted their CVs, and then we can decide to use that CV to create an Upwork account for us on a live presentation like this. So at this juncture, we will be calling this class to close. If you have any question, this is the time for you to ask. And if there are none, we could just end the session.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. I want to ask a question, though.
Okay, go ahead, Adams. Sorry, Jeremiah.
Yeah, my question is like on the CV, like you said, you will give it a CV, but I want to ask you, I want to be clear on something. Like for me, professionally, I'm an environmental health officer. Then
You are a what? Sorry.
a trained environmental health officer. I'm a trained environmental health officer,
Okay.
and same time a trained massage therapist.
Okay.
Am I to add all of them to the CV?
Have you worked with these experiences?
I have worked with the environmental health officer experience, yes, and the 2 of them, yes.
Okay, so what you just need to do is on your general CV. On your general CV, you can add them. Do you get me? On your general CV, you can add them. Let them. What are the samples of tasks that you do as an environmental? Did you say environmental science or environmental what again? Sorry.
Environmental health science, health professional.
Okay, environmental health. All right. So what kind of role?
Yes.
What kind of role do you occupy there? Like what are the kind of tasks that you do?
Okay. Uh, supervising, pest control, and some other things that
Okay.
I've done.
Okay, fine. So even the one you mentioned, supervising people under you, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is that is a job role. So under that, you can actually use customer service manager as your job role in that sense. And then under your task, you can write the supervision of supervision of workers, something like that. I don't know. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to portray to you.
Yes, I understand.
So you just look for a way that I'm just putting this. If you were to be applying for a customer service role, for instance, you would write out the name of the company where you worked as an environmental health worker. Okay. Then under the role, you could write customer service manager, or you could even write supervisor. Okay. But preferably you write customer service manager / supervisor. That makes it more sensible. And then under the task, you can then write I diligently supervised work or task or roles assigned to, say junior staffs that are assigned to me, something like that. You just have a way to play around it so that it brings out that customer service skill rather than just something different. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I hope that answers your
Thank
question.
you. Yes, sir.
Okay. Are there any other questions to be answered, or do we call it a night?
Okay,
Hello?
sir. Let me.
I have a question, sir.
Okay, Grace, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I have a question, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. For those of us who are self-employed, because I've been self-employed for a long time, can you hear me?
Could you please come again?
So I'm just wondering, how do we put down that kind of experience? I've been self-employed like a week more. Hello? Can you hear me?
Your network is fluctuating.
For those who are self-employed, sir.
Okay, self-employed. Okay.
Hello?
Okay, yes, go ahead. I can
Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello? Oh, I see. Can you hear me? Okay, my question goes like this. For those of us who are self-employed, who have been self-employed for some time, how do we indicate that you are self-employed on our CVs? I'm talking of those who are running their businesses.
What kind of business?
Can you hear me, sir?
What kind of business do you run, Ma?
Hello?
What kind of business do you run? Are you with me?
Oh, I'm into wig making. I'm a lawyer, and I'm also into wig making.
You are a lawyer?
Hello, can you hear me?
Did you say you are a lawyer?
I'm a lawyer,
Okay.
and I'm also into wig making.
Yes, he says he's a lawyer.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Great. Then
I run my private business.
okay.
Yes.
Okay. If you are into wig making, there is a way. There are ways you could put that out. All right. You could say you deliver professional health or professional health services. There was a job I once applied to.
Okay.
There was a job I once applied to, and let me show you the job. I'm hoping I will see it. Let me show you the job so that it doesn't look like I'm just speaking from the blues. Let me show you the job so that you see that when I tell people there is always a job for everybody, you will believe when I say it so. Let me see if I can bring out the job. The job is a job of a customer service, okay? And they require somebody who has worked in a wig company. Let's see. Let me see. Sorry, excuse me. Let me see if I can get it out. Aha! Look at this. I applied for this job. It's a customer service job. And the customer service job required, look at this. It says Hello, Joby. Even though I'm not Joby, the person made a mistake here. Thank you very much for your interest in our week's English customer service representative position. May I have your CV and a self-introduced video or audio, please? Also, would you please advise how long did you work with the wig manufacturer? Okay, so there are jobs that actually require you to have worked in a particular industry. Like this one I'm showing you, this one required that I should have worked in a wig manufacturing industry. So if you have such a job experience of making wig and all that, you could convert it. That's what I talked about, having a general CV and having a specialized CV. Okay, so in your case, even my CV here, I showed you something here. This is a personal company I run on my own, and it's like digital marketing company. I run Facebook adverts, I run Instagram adverts, Google adverts. I open Facebook pages for people. I manage people's social media accounts. This is basically what I do with this company. This is my PO here. It's my company. I'm the founder, and at the same time, I'm the digital marketing strategist. But I don't come here and call myself self-employed. No, it doesn't work that way because it doesn't sound professional. So you need to use a name that sells you out on the professional scale. Are you a lawyer? Is your business registered? Even if it's not registered, ironically, this business is not registered with CAC because it's just a self-employed business I do on my own. But I hope to register it eventually later on. But then I put in the name because I have chosen the name for myself. So I put in the name, Micro Digital Agency, okay? And then under the job, I am the founder and I'm also the digital marketing strategist. So if you are a lawyer, say for instance, Grace Ojo Chambers or whatever it is you want to put as the name of the company, okay? You can go ahead and put it out as you're the founder and CEO.
Yes.
The founder and the CEO
Yes, sir.
of the company, okay? And then you can write out different tasks that you do for people, okay? Do you register? You know what you guys do as a lawyer?
Okay.
I don't need to start telling you all that. So the different services you render
Yeah,
as a lawyer,
yeah,
you can go ahead and
I understand.
So you can go ahead and put that. Then in the week part, the week part of it, you're creating a service to people. Okay, you are creating a service to people. It can fall under customer service. You can create a customer service job out of that. You can also create a personal job. I don't know if that's your week job.
Okay.
You can create a personal job
Okay.
where you can call yourself the founder and CEO as well, and then you describe the kind of task that you do.
No.
Okay. However, whatever job you're applying to, this is where it becomes handy. Whatever job you're applying to should determine whether the skill that you have on your general profile should go alongside as your CV, or whether you have to change that skill. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
The job I showed you people,
Okay.
the job
I do. Thank you.
The job I showed you on Upwork should give you an hint on how to change your roles so that it fits the job description that you're applying to. So even if you lack a role, look at the job description and then try to tailor the work you did to fit that job role. You always get an insight from the job description. That's why I said make sure you read the job description properly. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. I have another question.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
I have another question. Okay. So for newbies like us, I'm guessing it will be difficult for us to break through initially. So because when you were going through what you the specialized CV, you were able to introduce. I mean, in the proposal, you were able to introduce yourself based on what you are freelancing.
Yes, go ahead. I can hear you.
So my question is for newbies like us, how do we? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
For newbies like us, how do we handle that? Yeah, how do we handle that as newbies
Okay.
to freelancing.
All right. I got that. I got that.
Since we don't have experience.
I got that. You're talking about those who don't have a freelancing experience, right? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
You don't need to have a freelancing experience before you can
That
apply.
is it. That is it, man.
Before you can apply for a job, look at this job here.
No, I'm talking of your proposal. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, proposal. Oh no. You don't need to have an experience. You can use.
Hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, cover letter. Sorry, cover letter.
Okay.
Cover letter. Yeah.
Okay.
Cover letter or your cover letter.
Okay, I thought you were talking about CV. For cover letter, it's the experience you should describe.
Yeah. No, cover letter. Yeah.
The experience you should describe must not necessarily be an experience you had while working for somebody on Upwork. If you have had an experience, like say for instance, in my case, before I started freelancing on Upwork, I was already managing people's social media accounts. Okay, for instance, this lady that gave me this review, I told you I worked as a social media manager and technical advisor. She was the vice chairman of Etiosa local government area, Lagos Island. Okay, so I worked as a social media manager, and that was the job I did even before I started freelancing on Upwork. So the first job I got on Upwork, which I should let you know that it is not entirely true that it will be difficult for you to break even on Upwork. When I started freelancing on Upwork, it was just barely. I was under a 1 month training as a freelancer on Upwork, and it was barely 2 weeks after I had concluded that training, I started applying, and I got my first job. I think I even got my first job before the training was over, before the 1 month training was over. So it all depends on how you are able to tailor your proposal, okay, and how you're able to catch your client's attention. That's why I emphasize on the attention. If you're able to get your attention of your client and you're able to get an interview with your client, you're good to go. And there are some very common jobs that you can look out for. I'll be sharing some of those eventually by Wednesday. Very common job you can look out for to break even. Okay, so you don't necessarily need to be using.
Thank you.
You don't necessarily need to be using the job you have done on Upwork as a reference. If you have done any job outside Upwork, you can use that as a reference in your cover letter.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Adam.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Adams, you're trying to ask a question. Has your question been answered?
Yes, I think it's okay now, sir.
All right, great. So I believe that is the end of the session. If there are no other questions, then I
still have a question, though.
Okay, Jeremiah, I'll take you out as the last question.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir. I said I'm a medical officer and a massage therapist. I've done several jobs on them. And as a massage therapist, I have a business which I run. I attend to clients. So how do I put it on my CV?
You can put the name of the business, the company name. Okay. You can put yourself as if there are some jobs. Okay, there are some jobs that will require supervision, or there are some jobs that will require that you should have the skill to hire people. Okay. For those kind of job that require that you have skills to hire people, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yeah. If you are applying to jobs that require that you have skill to hire people, for instance, or a job that was posted by maybe a startup.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's cracking.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I said if you are applying to a job that requires a skill of a founder, okay, a job that requires the skill of somebody that can hire other people to work, you could use that your business, okay, as part of your CV, And under the role, you will add yourself as the founder of that business. And under the task of that business, you will state that you were able to hire people, you were able to hire the best hands to work with you. You were able to supervise those under you. You get the point? You know,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
the roles, the task, or the ability of a founder, if you are the owner of a business with people working under you, there are some certain common or basic skill you should have. You should have basic managerial skill. Those are things that should come into your job role. You're able to manage your business and the people working with you. That is a job task that should come under your business as the founder of the business. Then if you are applying as a customer service representative, for instance, and you want to use that same business to apply as a customer service representative, you don't go apply using the job role of a founder for customer service representative. No, you change that role to customer service representative, and under the task you tell them how you were able to attend to the need of your different clients and how you were able to calm the clients that were probably not happy with your services. How you were able to navigate challenging times with them and still retain them such that you didn't eventually lose them when you had a misunderstanding with them, kind of. So those are abilities that you want to share under the same company. Remember, the same company but different job roles and different tasks. Does that answer your question?
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, thank you very much.
All right. So at this juncture, I would like to call this meeting to a close. Thank you once again for joining in. The recording for this session will be hopefully available by tomorrow. However, I would expect that I'll be sharing some link. I'll share the link to the Zendex tutorial. I'll share the link.
Internet.
I'll share the link. One of my CVs to guide you on how to create yours. And then I'll be expecting that by tomorrow, even for you who are here present in the training, if you don't see the recording, I expect that as soon as you see the CV that I share, you should start working on your own. Okay, so that you don't delay yourself. Remember, I said the first person will be the person we'll be using as an example to create our work account, hopefully on Wednesday. So until Wednesday, do have a wonderful night rest, and see you at the other side.
All right. Thank you, boss. Good night.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. and good night.
Thank you.
Yeah, good night.